All right, Lakers land. In today's video, we are putting two Laker guys head to head, Dalton Knecht and Jake LaRavia. Now, this isn't about who fits best next to Luka, LeBron, who should earn minutes, stuff like that. This video is about who's more valuable to the Lakers as a true wing weapon. We're going to kind of break this thing down into five quick categories. I want to speak on shot creation, finishing, handle and control, off ball movement, and finally transition impact. And then we'll close it out with our final matrix verdict. So I want to start this off with, first of all, shot creation. Who can get their own bucket when the plays break down? To me, Jake plays within the flow of the game. He reacts to rotation. He rarely hunts. He's not really a creator to me. Jake LaRavia is more of a rhythm scorer. I feel like Dalton Knecht, he got that one dribble pull up. He has instant release. He got that scoring cadence that, really at times can change the momentum in seconds. The only thing I will say about Dalton Knecht as far as shot creation, his package, his creation package isn't as deep as I would like it to be. I still like his feel still a little bit linear. So Dalton Knecht needs to work on a bag, but overall, my eye test tells me between the two, Jake and Dalton, I would give the edge to Dalton Knecht in the shot creation category. I feel like Dalton creates shots. LaRavia pretty much reacts to him. Second category when we comparing these wings is the finishing package. Who's more versatile and efficient at the rim? This is interesting to me because Dalton Knecht, he can finish best downhill in space, but he still struggles with vertical rim protectors. We've seen it in his rookie year. We've seen a little bit of it in these first couple exhibition games. Jake LaRavia, on the other end, he uses a lot of angles and pump fakes. It seems like to me, watching Jake, he's comfortable finishing through traffic and absorbing contact. He's not the most physical, but he doesn't shy away from it. So when you talk about the finishing package, I would probably edge that slightly to Jake because of his body control. I feel like LaRavia's body control outperforms Dalton Knecht's body control raw. My boy 2G in the building, my boy Bit in the building. Shout out to my guys. As always, y'all know how I do early when it comes to Lakers land. But my third category between these guys would be handle and control. In y'all opinion, between Jake and Dalton, who controls the tempo the most or the best and avoids turnovers? Who would you really put that much trust in? I think Jake LaRavia, his disposition to me, y'all, I may be reading it wrong, but he seems to be like calm. He real steady, like nothing outside the box. He's the kind of guy that lets lineups breathe, so to speak. Dalton Knecht, on the other hand, to me, he handled work when attacking downhill, but tight defense kind of speeds him up when you talk about the control. I would actually give Jake LaRavia the edge of handling control. I feel like his rhythm management gives the offense structure that you don't get so much with Dalton Knecht on the floor. Dalton needs some resurgence from 2G. My boy Steve in the building got his coffee ready for rocking and rolling. Oh, yeah, we in here early, Steve. We got a lot to break down in a little bit of time because it's always something with the Lakers. Bit, what's your thoughts on you going with Jake as well when we're talking about handle and control? You would go with Jake. So what about the next category, off ball movement? When you're talking about these two wing guys, Jake LaRavia and Dalton Knecht for our Lakers, who's smarter in y'all opinion without the basketball? Now, this is tough for me to answer because I didn't watch a lot of Jake LaRavia play last year. So the little bit that I've seen of Jake, when you talk about IQ, basketball IQ, I think he has it offensively and defensively. He's not the brightest light bulb in the world, but I think he has a nice, decent basketball IQ on both ends of the court. Dalton Knecht is another pretty intelligent player, I believe, when we talk about IQ. I think Dalton Knecht is more or less of a risk taker because I think his offensive package is a little bit deeper than Jake LaRavia. So you'll see Dalton Knecht take a lot of chances that Jake probably wouldn't. But who's smarter without the basketball? When we talk about off-ball movement, would y'all go with Jake or would y'all go with Dalton Knecht? I feel like Knecht is learning to use his shooting gravity. He's relocating pretty well after drives. I see the improvement on that. Jake LaRavia, like I said, I hadn't watched too much of him last year, but from what I'm seeing, he seems to be pretty elite at timing and screen reads. I think Jake LaRavia is a motion connector who frees others, and, allowing them to get involved. So there is actually a thumbs up for both guys for me in the off-ball movement category, but I would probably lean more to Dalton Knecht a little bit more. When you talk about off-ball movement, I feel like Knecht, he bends defenses a little bit more. LaRavia kind of balances defenses. Dalton Knecht kind of bends defenses. His versatility, his length. I don't want to so much compare Dalton Knecht to Kevin Durant, but just that length and that versatility, being able to pick and pop, I think that is definitely an advantage, even off the ball. When you talk about moving around, footwork and the shooting gravity, I would edge that to. I would edge it to Dalton Knecht, but I could see why people feel like Jake LaRavia is better off ball. I don't know. I just feel like Dalton Knecht would be a bigger threat. But last but not least, the final category in this comparison for the Matrix would be transition impact. Who dominates in the open floor better, Jake LaRavia or Dalton Knecht? My brother 2G says Dalton is going to draw attention. Okay. Bit is going with Jake as far as transition impact. Bit feels like LaRavia dominates more than Dalton Knecht in the open floor. I mean, to me, Dalton Knecht, he's a rhythm scorer. I think Dalton Knecht, we've seen, especially in his rookie campaign, his energy can explode in transition, hitting those fast break three-pointers, instant running, downhill bursts. Jake LaRavia is more of a trail shooter or like an outlet passer, steady, not electric. So I think I would edge that bit to Dalton Knecht more or less than Jake LaRavia when we talk about transition impact. I feel like LaRavia can sustain the momentum, but Dalton Knecht helps flip the momentum, if that actually makes sense. I think, and I don't even think it's even close. Dalton Knecht. He definitely needs a dribble package. There's a couple players on the Lakers that need to improve their dribble package. The rookie, Adu Thiero, even Rui Hachimura could improve his dribble package a little bit. 2G says Jake's fast break capability is trash. So 2G likes Dalton Knecht more or less in transition. Bit has respect for Jake LaRavia. I don't know, y'all. I would say Dalton Knecht. I would say Dalton Knecht, but we're gonna have a lot of basketball to witness this season, so I might be wrong. All right, so let's look at the final verdict of what we had. So shot creation, when we broke this down, shot creation, we gave that to Dalton Knecht. Finishing, we gave that to Jake LaRavia. Handle and control, I believe we gave that also to Jake LaRavia. Off ball movement, we did give. I think we gave the off ball movement. I felt like it was Dalton Knecht. Some might feel like it was LaRavia. And the transition impact, me and 2G clearly feel like it's Dalton Knecht at this time. So when I look at everything, it seems like Dalton Knecht actually edges this thing slightly. I don't know if y'all agree or disagree, but when we break this down in the matrix, Dalton Knecht edges it 8.06 to 7.8. That is very close on this scale. Wow. LaRavia definitely fits within the system. Dalton Knecht can shift things depending on the opportunities. I think the Lakers already have structure. What they need, someone that can ignite these runs, get the energy, keep the energy going, especially with James not being around. And, Luka's going to have a whole lot to carry as far as a load. So to me, y'all, the most valuable wing threat that the Lakers have out of these two, I'm going to say it's Dalton Knecht. I'm going to say Dalton Knecht is more valuable of a wing threat than Jake LaRavia. Jake is the connector, but Dalton is the catalyst. Dalton can get shit lit. I think Dalton can get shit going. Dalton can get us hype. I don't know about that from Jake. My boy Nate in the building, big Celtics fan. He said he think his Celtics is going to get banned as 19 this year. Really? It's going to be interesting. That Eastern Conference is tough. I think the Celtics kind of blew their opportunity to build a new dynasty a couple years ago. If they would have repeated last year, we would have had to definitely look at Boston some type of way. I still got a lot of respect for them. They still have their core with Jason and Jalen, just to name a couple. But, y'all lost Al Horford. A lot of other teams are getting better. You're not getting any younger. It's going to be super tough for Boston to try to get back to that promised land. But anything goes. I'm not going to count out my boy Nat and his Celtics just yet. Feel like you got one of the best rosters in the NBA? Yeah, but see, this game, Nathaniel, was not played on paper. This game at the end of the day, the ball has to be thrown up in the air and you got to go get it. So it's going to be interesting to see. My boy Steve in the building said he want to see them all on the floor together doing some games because we can say Dalton now, but they start hooping and Jake might outplay him. Perfect prime example. You got to watch the game. You got to watch the game. I think this is a very good statement by Steve. Go shoot. But I wanted to really put it in perspective now because we really don't know what this roster is going to wind up looking like for the Lakers before the trade deadline. So me right now, knowing that LeBron is going to be out at least a month, I'm looking at all the role players. I'm not wasting my time talking about Luka. I know what Luka going to bring to this table. I'm not wasting my time talking about Austin Reeves so much. I know what Austin Reeves is going to bring to this table. Any championship team or any team that you take serious is a total team, has role players. You win titles off of role players. Stars don't just win championships. So for these next couple of weeks, I really want to focus in with the Lakers as far as the role players. Because trade value matters. Some of these guys we won't see in the purple and gold by the time the end of the year. We're going to have to talk about Gabe Vincent. How much value is Gabe bringing to the table? But when I woke up this morning, I was like, damn, we got Dalton Knecht. We got Jake LaRavia. Should we be comparing those two? Because I honestly think, y'all, at the end of the day, Dalton Knecht's career and with the Lakers is over. It's just a matter of time before they get rid of DK. I just feel like that whole situation last year that blew up with that trade with Mark Williams in Charlotte, Dalton Knecht didn't bounce back from that mentally. I think he feel like this organization really fucked him over. But, he's going into his sophomore campaign. He doesn't really have any leverage or no legs to stand on as far as complaining or some shit like that. So he's just going to be the professional. But I think the Lakers really dropped the ball with Dalton Knecht last year. I'm not sure how much of an opportunity JJ is going to give him, but I'm not sold that Dalton Knecht is going to be the future of the Lakers, to be honest. But while we have him now under contract, I'm just trying to gauge who would be most important, most valuable. And I think Steve makes a good point. We really need to see both of these guys out there on the basketball court potentially at the same time, because they do bring something to the table. The only thing that scares the hell out of me, Steve, about putting Dalton Knecht and Jake LaRavia on the basketball court at the same time, more than likely, you're also going to have Luka out there or Austin Reeves. That's 3 to 4 guys who can't play no damn defense. Teams will eat our ass alive. No homo. So that's where I kind of put up the caution tape with having both Dalton Knecht and Jake on the floor. You really looking at being a liability defensively. I guess it depends on what that backcourt look like. If you got Gabe Vincent and Marcus Smart in the backcourt with Jake and Dalton Knecht on the wings, maybe that balances things out. I don't know. But this shit is going to be interesting, y'all. A boy Falano in the building says, why did Dalton stop scorching like he did when he jumped out the gate his rookie season? Bro, this is the $1 million question, fool. This is the $1 million question, bro. We watched Dalton Knecht go off last year. He was turning up. Didn't he drop like 30-something against KD and Phoenix and him? He was turned up last year. Summer League. I don't know what JJ Redick's problem was with Dalton Knecht, yo, but they kind of gave up on dude. Me and Bit watched these games all last year in the playback room. He just disappeared. He just disappeared. Shit is crazy, yo. But I'm not going to hold y'all, man. I know it's early. I just wanted to come through real quick this morning before I get these kids off to school and chop it up with y'all about Jake LaRavia and Dalton Knecht. Who do y'all feel like at the end of the day right now, while we both have them under contract, who is the most valuable to the Lakers as a true wing weapon? According to our matrix score, it looks like Dalton Knecht slightly gets the edge over this. But, like my boy Steve said, yo, the game has to be played. We got 82 games at least. We're going to see how this shit play out. I'm Seven Mitchell, y'all. This is Lakers Land. I hope you guys have a good Tuesday. Stay safe. I'll be going live again later on this afternoon with the latest news in Lakers Land. So y'all keep it a buck. Stay safe, and I'll catch y'all on this evening's afternoon stream. Peace, y'all.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Lakers Land podcast with Seven Mitchell. If you rocked with the show, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a review wherever you're listening. Join the conversation on social at Lakers Land Show and tap in for daily takes, polls, and more. Until next time, stay loyal, stay loud, and always stay Lakered up.